It is a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV World News Broadcast. To present it, my name is Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga. The headlines. Police feast on unruly PF cadres. Government meets youths again. LCC suspends Chicago's reloaded license for 60 days. In international news, Malawi president urges prayer and fasting against COVID-19. And in sports news, goalkeeping course hits copper belt. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
The details. The Zambia Police Service has arrested some unruly Patriotic Front PF cadres at the Lusaka's Magistrate Court. One of the cadres, Mwelwa Chama, was arrested for using a police blue light, also known as a beacon, to gain access in the court premises, which were highly guarded by police. The cadres went to give solidarity to Health Minister Chitalu Chilufya, who was appearing before the court over corruption charges. Dr. Chilufya has since pleaded not guilty to 4 counts of corruption. Magistrate Lamek Mwale has since adjourned the matter to the 4th of August 2020 for commencement of trial. We have more in this report.
Put him in custody. Put him in custody. Bring him here. Bring him. Put him in custody.
About 2 suspected Patriotic Front cadres were beaten and detained at Kabwata Police after attempting to find their way into the Magistrate Court to show solidarity to the Minister of Health, Dr. Chitalu Chilufya. This happened when the minister appeared before Lusaka Chief Resident Magistrate Lamek Mwale in the morning, as he was charged with 4 counts of possession of properties suspected to be proceeds of crime involving monies which he allegedly used to purchase shares and properties in Zambia and Dubai. The case has been adjourned to commence on the 4th of August 2020 for trial, and the state has been advised not to bring not more than 30 witnesses to testify against Chitalu Chilufya. Dr. Chilufya was accompanied to court by his wife Mutinta, and he is being represented by lawyers Tutu Angulube and Jonas Zimba. Dr. Chilufya is still serving as Minister of Health, as the president hasn't relieved him of his duties, neither has he resigned. Chitalu Chilufya has pleaded not guilty in all 4 counts. Constance Mwemba reporting for Camnet TV News, Lusaka.
Meanwhile, Collective Action Zambia CAZ has commended the Zambia Police Service for its swift action against the PF cadres. CAZ management in a media statement says the police ought to be commended for restoring law and order at the court on Thursday. CAZ says effective case management is essential to the delivery of justice. The institution has since urged the Zambia Police Service to closely work with the judiciary to provide the personal security of judicial judicial staff as they dispense justice. The institution further says no one should be indispensable as far as obeying of the law is concerned. CAS has also appealed to President Edgar Lungu to relieve Dr. Talo Chilufya of his duties so that he can concentrate on defending himself, stating that leaving him in his ministerial capacity compromises the delivery of justice. And moving on in other news, Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Christopher Yaluma says government is aware of the potential within the agriculture sector to changing the economic landscape of Zambia. Speaking at a youth symposium Thursday, Mr. Yaluma says his ministry has embarked on a project called Zambia Agri-Business and Trade Project aimed at providing solutions within the agriculture sector. The minister says the project will enable farmers, agro-processors and buyers to build and enhance business networks. Here's a report.
People receiving the support are not abstract entities. They are Zambian men, women and youth that are relatable to us all. They are people who got organized and applied for support for the ultimate objective of improving not only their well-being and those of their immediate families, but also of the nation at large through their contribution to this important agri-business sector. You too can change your own narrative by applying for what government has made available to you through the Zambia Agribusiness and Trade Projects. As a ministry, we are also committed to work with all partners who share our conviction that the growth of agribusiness enterprises relies on the formation of market-driven business relationships. We therefore look forward to working with all stakeholders and welcome all private sector players who may wish to be part of this intervention and others being implemented by the ministry. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, I would like to congratulate the 35 recipients for their well-deserved milestone attained here today. May I conclude by expressing my sincere gratitude to the World Bank, whose support has made this project possible.
The Lusaka City Council LCC Liquor Licensing Committee has suspended Marti Investments Limited Trading as Chicago's Reloaded license for 60 days for contravening public health guidelines on the prevention of the spread of the coronavirus. LCC, through its prescribed relevant pieces of legislation, is also expected to fine the company. LCC Public Relations Manager George Sichimba, in a media statement, explains that the 60-day suspension of the license takes effect from the 26th of June 2020, when the license was confiscated. Mr. Sichimba says the decision was arrived at during a committee meeting held on the 14th of July 2020, a meeting convened to hear an appeal by the company. The company's license was revoked for disregarding health guidelines as it continued selling alcohol and allowing patrons at its business premises despite an SI not to do so in view of the coronavirus. Patriots for Economic Progress PEP President Sean Tembo says allegations being leveled against President Edgar Lungu on aiding some rebel groups with intentions of unseating Rwandan President Paul Kagame are very serious and should not be overlooked. Mr. Tembo says President Lungu must not remain silent on the matter but must quickly address the nation to clear the air. President Lungu is accused of having funded a rebel group in Rwanda a sum of 150,000 United States dollars for the purpose of toppling the duly elected government of Rwanda by Kalitek Sabimana Sankara, who is a Rwandan national accused of various national security offenses and is undergoing trial in that country.
As Patriots for Economic Progress, we are very concerned with the manner in which the President has addressed the allegations that have been leveled against him by the Rwandan accused person who is appearing in court. The allegations that he financed that dissident group to the tune of $150,000. Our expectation was that the President was going to address this matter personally, and that he would actually invite the media to ask questions so that the matter is dealt with to finality, as opposed to delegating his press aide, who issued a very narrow and shallow statement, which actually just goes to add more confusion to the matter at hand. Going forward, we wish to appeal to the President to consider addressing this matter personally, so that the Zambian people can look into his eyes and be able to make a judgment for themselves on whether he is telling the truth or not. Thank you.
But State House has for the second time issued another statement asking Zambians to dismiss the allegations. President Edgar Lungu, in a statement issued on his behalf by his press assistant Isaac Chipampe, says State House is concerned that despite stating its position on the allegations leveled against President Edgar Lungu and the Zambian government, Zambians have continued to issue wild speculations and accusations on the matter. Mr. Chipampe explains that, as stated on Tuesday this week, State House maintains that the allegations purported to have been submitted to a Rwandan court are false, adding that the Zambian government is dealing with the matter through diplomatic channels with that country. State House has since advised Zambians, including the media, to allow the due process of diplomacy to take its course without speculations and further unwarranted allegations. That story takes us to our first set of commercials. Do stay tuned as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
To create a positive difference in people's lives, one must first understand the way people live. At Savenda, we're here for our community, our partners, and our future, as a nation and as a continent.
Back in 1997, we decided we were going to create this family journey into a bigger opportunity, and created a business called Savenda, which meant save nations to develop Africa.
It's always important to give back to the people. The government cannot do everything, but as business entities, we'll be able to reach a lot of people.
From our humble beginnings in the telecoms and mining sectors, to our work in energy and development projects, we know how important it is to be true to our roots.
Our services have to be diversified so that we don't depend on one income stream. Back in the village, I was growing up hunting and doing everything that a village boy would like to do. When you're hunting, you don't depend on one trap, for example. You have to have many traps. So those survival skills brought into the business created opportunities that we learned from a young age that you can't survive with just one product. Savenda Group involves Savenda Management, which is a consulting, Savenda Express, which is a corporate branding company, Savenda Electric, which is a manufacturer of energy saving bulbs, Savenda General Insurance, which is a general insurance company, Savenda Fresh Produce, Cyber Africa, which is a center for just dealing with cyber security.
Now, Savenda is combining local knowledge with international expertise. It's time to be a part of Zambia's rising success and Africa's exciting future.
We are a gateway into Africa, and now we are praying with global companies who are coming to Zambia for opportunities and to look for companies that are homegrown, and we are proud to be one of those.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. While the Zambian government, through through Finance Minister Ngandu, acknowledging that the country has been badly hit economically by the effects of the coronavirus. The Economic Association of Zambia, IAZ, says it is happy with government's economic interventions. Dr. Habazoka says the release of the 8 billion kwacha economic stimulus package financed through a COVID-19 bond by the Zambian government has cushioned further shocks in the economy. Dr. Habazoka has since called for homegrown solutions during this period as opposed to looking for solutions elsewhere. Dr. Ngandu on Tuesday in a ministerial statement downgraded Zambia's economic growth from the projected 3% to -4%. We have more in this report.
The COVID-19 pandemic has had a huge negative impact on the global economies. The Economic Association of Zambia has observed that overall, Zambia is likely to come out of the situation healthier than many other affected countries who are in total lockdown. South Africa is reported to have recorded a number of 3 million job losses. The United States of America, with not less than 20 million jobs lost during the novel coronavirus pandemic period. EAZ President Dr. Lubinda Habazoka says Zambia has recorded minimal job losses and that the most pleasing part is that government has introduced the new normal adjustments that will allow workers to be able to operate smoothly in their productions. Dr. Habazoka has stated that it is clear that economic growth is on the verge of being shut down this year as compared to 2019, as major economic partners abroad are shut down, which calls for Zambia's need to come up with new sources of wealth and establish new markets for the country's produce.
When you look at COVID, a lot of countries have lost jobs. Just in South Africa, over 3 million jobs have been lost. In the USA, over 20 million jobs. Of course, we expect such losses to be in Zambia, to be there in Zambia. But of course, we have had minimal job losses as a result of the fact that our economy has remained relatively open and players have adjusted to be able to operate within the new normal. I think those are courageous decisions that were made by government. And overall, I think that we will come out of this situation healthier than other countries that had total lockdowns. Definitely economic growth this year won't be compared to last year because even our major economic partners abroad, some of them are shut down. So we need to find new sources of wealth for citizens, develop new businesses and establish new markets for our produce.
Dr. Habazoka particularly called on the mines such as Mopani copper mines to increase production more than ever before, as metals for the past 5 years have been high on demand. He added that the prices themselves have been encouraging.
The industry should take advantage by producing because demand for metals is ever high and the prices have reached one of the highest the past 5 years. So we don't see a reason why the mining companies should, like Mopani for example, should shut down. Let them produce, even if they are not producing, let them hand over the mines in fully operational mode to government so that we can show them how we have run the independence, we have run the mine since independence.
Reporting for Camnet Television in Lusaka, Zambia, Namwinga Mwinga.
Barely a week since ruling Patriotic Front PF women held a press briefing to denounce opposition United Party for National Development UPND Chioma Central Member of Parliament Cornelius Mwetwa's refusal to apologize to the Zambia's Vice President Inonge Wina for describing her statement on the gassing incidents as being shallow and shameful. UPND women have also held a press briefing to defend their MP. The UPND women have charged that the PF cannot force their MP to apologize, stating that Mr. Mwetwa was not wrong in any way. We have more in this report.
IUPND, name my NGOs. Can you talk about the wrong things that the government is doing? Yes. Attack them. Yes. Don't just keep quiet. When you are funded, the government has funded you, that's when you raise up and attack HH and the UPND. We are not going to allow that. That is pure nonsense. Yes. A woman should be be supported, but not a woman who tells lies. No. We respect you, Mama Wina, because you are intelligent, you've got knowledge. But that knowledge shouldn't take you to lie and tell the Zambian people lies in the parliament. You should say the truth and shame the devil.
Ministry of National Guidance and Religious Affairs Permanent Secretary Dr. Howard Sequela has challenged Zambians to promote national unity and patriotism at all times. Speaking when he opened a one-day sensitization meeting at the Boma Hall in Kabwe, Dr. Sequela said it is the responsibility of all Zambians to promote the nation positively, preach unity and hard work for sustainable development. Dr. Sequela noted that government is working on inculcating positive cultural values in government and other sectors. He noted that his ministry is charged with a huge task of inculcating national values and principles which cuts across all spheres of life, hence the need for the ministry to work closely with all stakeholders in ensuring that correct information about Zambia's culture, morals and ethics are shared correctly. He said Zambia has identified national values, principles and ethics in order to ensure sustained growth and national cohesion. Moving on in other news, Medical for Quality Healthcare in Zambia Executive Director Dr. Quincy Chabu says there is need to do mandatory COVID-19 testing to all parliamentarians in the wake of a new positive case recorded at the National Assembly. In an interview with Camnet TV, Dr. Chabu says this will allow proper investigations and finding possible solutions in this new outbreak. Yesterday, Clerk of the National Assembly revealed in a statement that 19 new COVID cases have been recorded among the 3 parliamentarians.
COVID is very real in our country, and this is very serious and it is very dangerous. And we saw yesterday the Parliament building recorded 19 cases, which is very serious. And we are urging the Minister of Health to do the mandatory test to all the staffs at the Parliament building. And we are also urging the Parliament building to reduce the number of people who are entering the Parliament building. And it is very important now to put the restrictive measures to make sure that we prevent the further cases of coronavirus in our country. And we are urging the general public to follow the guidelines. It is very important because we have reached now, we have seen and understand the epidemiology of the virus. So we need to take things seriously, and we should not be careless as a general public and as people of Zambia. This is the right time. We need to do the right thing and to prevent the further cases of coronavirus in our country.
Meanwhile, MQHZ Media Director Francis Kangwa is disappointed with the general public's casual approach towards the fight against COVID-19. Mr. Kangwa says the careless behavior by citizens is dangerous and a breeding ground for the spreading and contraction of the coronavirus. The general public has therefore been urged to revert to mandatory masking up and practicing social distancing.
Quality healthcare in Zambia is hugely disappointed with how the general public is casually taking the fight against the coronavirus. Our survey conducted in the last 1 week in the most markets, public places of provincial centers has revealed that people have stopped masking up and practicing social distancing. This careless behavior by citizens is dangerous and a fatal ground for spreading and contraction of the coronavirus. We urge the general public to revert back to the mandatory masking up and practicing physical distancing. A check at both Levi Mwanawasa Hospital and UTH has painted a worrying trend. You know, we now have a lot of patients on oxygen due to the respiratory conditions and COVID-related infections. As an organization, we fear that if the population will keep treating the pandemic casually, the positive cases will increase and more burden on the health sector and the economy at large.
We take our second set of commercials. Do stay tuned as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
Msika is here. We have you all covered with just 150 kwacha. You can advertise every day from 17 hours to 18 hours. For a 30-second ad, get the benefit of selling your products and services on Msika. For more details, call our marketing department on +260 953 995099, +260 962 444 726, or +260 971 177 467. Email us on info@camnettvafrica.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, Malawi President Lazarus Chakwera has called on citizens to join him in fasting and prayer against the spread and impact of the coronavirus in the country. The president urged all religiously inclined citizens and residents of Malawi to fast and pray for 3 days starting Thursday. He has also declared Sunday a national day of Thanksgiving. The president asked that prayers be lifted up for the recovery of those infected and affected by the virus, the protection and sustenance of healthcare workers on the front lines of the fight, the protection and diligence of those who have not yet contracted the virus, the effectiveness of the Presidential Task Force on COVID-19, a statement signed by Information Minister Gospel Kazako said. The president is a former church pastor who led the Malawi Assemblies of God Church for 24 years. And we move on to sports news. The Chipolo Polo technical bench is in Dola to drill the last contemplate of goalkeeping coaches for Super League and National Division teams. FAS has already conducted 2 courses in Lusaka and Central provinces. Goalkeeper trainers were allocated according to the nearest geographical location, with all the 36 teams in the Super League and National Division 1 captured. Chipolo Polo goalkeeper coach is at the heart of the proceedings, bringing his experience that has seen him produce goalkeepers currently campaigning in top European leagues. The Serbian national is also expected to establish a goalkeeping academy in Zambia, where he will drill promising short troopers. FAS has placed coach education at the center of its 10-year strategic plan. That sports item brings us to the end of the main news broadcast. But before we go, a look at the headlines once again. Police feast on unruly PF cadres. Government meets youths again. LCC suspends Chicago's reloaded license for 60 days. And in international news, Malawi president urges prayer and fasting against COVID-19. And in sports news, goalkeeping coach hits copper belt. The Camnet World Verse of the Day is coming from the book of James 1 verse 26, and it reads, "If any man among you seems to be religious and bridleth not his tongue, but deceiveth his own heart, this man's religion is in vain." This has been Camnet TV World News, and I have been your anchor, Liseli Kanyanga Mubanga. Camnet TV, not just another channel.